I love living by myself. Everything is exactly the way I want it to be.
I do my own laundry, I make my own bed, I read books, I go to the gym.
And we are strong and we are business women and we make our own money.
Coffee dates are not dates.
Broke men shouldn't have lineage, period.
Never give a chance to an ugly man.
I don't cook no meal from scratch for no man until I'm a wife.
Men know biologically that they're not needed.
I will never again partner with a man who's not willing to spend money on me.
The grass is greener where I am.
A lot of men will try to trap you by impregnating you.
You taking me to a restaurant for the first few dates is very outdated.
What are we not going back to? The kitchen.
It's not my job to convince a man on why he's supposed to choose me or why he should choose me.
If you cannot take a woman out to dinner a few times a month, if that is going to stress you out, then you should not be dating. You have no business dating. You can't afford it.
This was one of the toughest video I ever had to make, guys. So if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe.
I've hit like 7 a day.
7 a day?
Yeah.
My last relationship, we broke up because he asked me to marry him, but then he asked me to sign a prenuptial agreement.
Unless he's paying every single bill and every one of your bills, he doesn't run anything.
50-50 divorces aren't fair. Stay-at-home moms should be given 100% of everything in divorce and should be awarded alimony for life.
If you are in a relationship or dating, remember there is no 50-50. You shouldn't be paying any bills, not because you can't, but because your man should be treating you like a queen.
Why would you approach me if you're not gonna worship the ground I walk on? Why would you approach me without offerings, without complete devotion?
I hate when I'm like cussing a man out or like being like, leave me the f alone, and then they really do. Like, no, beg. Beg, beg, beg.
Calling me a gold digger doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, how do I appropriately respond to that? I'm sorry that I like men who spend money on me.
If there were no men on earth, if they all disappeared tomorrow, I would be dressing so much sluttier. I've really toned it down for you people.
I don't understand why men go after like females for their body count. Like, you don't see us females going after your body count. Tell me your body count.
And that our value as women should never be measured by our marital status, and our worth shouldn't change based on our relationship to a man.
Okay, then we shouldn't be judged on our height or how much money we make.
And we don't need your approval.
If a guy says to you, I want peace in my relationships, if he says, I want a drama-free relationship, if he says, I just want things to be easy, run for the hills.
Okay, but hear me out. Wouldn't it be crazy if men were meant to submit to women and women were meant to protect and provide, which is why we're so good at it, but the patriarchy's convinced us that we need men to do that so they feel needed and we feel powerless?
If you're really cute and you have a good personality, but you have made your mistakes in the past, a lot of guys are very forgiving.
Yes, you will always find a simp, you will always find a white knight. That's why I tell you guys, simps are the problem, because no matter how women act or what they do or what they say, they know there will always be a simp to rescue them.
So do not let the guys that have preferences make you lose hope. Don't give loyalty until you receive it. Make sure your time is best utilized for yourself. Stay unattached by dating several people at the same time. It doesn't hurt to save on Uber money by getting one date to drop you off to the next day.
Women cannot afford to date down because the universe gave you a gift. You can only date confident, successful guys.
I don't think age is an excuse for cheating, but I will say I cheated on my ex-husband. That's what like ruined our marriage. But I was like, my brain hadn't developed yet.
No, yes, I'm going to dress up as a freaking angel for Halloween. I don't care what you say. I'm wearing the freaking lingerie. I'm putting on a freaking tutu. I'm putting on freaking white bands. I don't care. I don't actually care, because you know what? That's who I am inside me, and that's who you freaking married. That's who you freaking said.
She's totally right, guys. You did it to yourself. Why did you marry a woman like that? She's totally right.
That you would freaking help when they're sick. And so what? Maybe I'm sick in the head by freaking wearing an angel costume, but whatever. This is what I'm getting for Halloween.
Until you realize that dating is not a priority, not even a purpose, it is probably just something to do when you have nothing to do. You can get into this dating world and just experience, have fun, not take these hoes so seriously. But women are so green, they'll let anybody get in between.
Guess what I had for breakfast the other day?
Oh, God.
Plan B and water.
Should have known. What was that, like third time this week?
Not this week.
Month? Aren't you, like, only allowed to take so many of those before you're just, like, infertile?
I'm pretty sure you're only supposed to take like 4 a year.
And you ran
I can't
today?
count how many times I've taken a Plan B past few months.
It's like that?
It's like that.
When you fall in love with men, you act stupid. You have women who are going 50-50 with men, and then they still wash and cook for the men. You have women who a man call them at 10 o'clock in the night and act like they're in love with them, and after they get the kitty cat, the man leave, and then they don't hear from the man again for months. And then that same man will come back again and call them at 10 o'clock and act like they love them for kitty cat and they forgive them.
Why are there some women on their periods capable of acting cool and calm at work, yet behave irritable at home around her loved ones?
Well, that's kind of a tough question because, like, you have to act nice and, like, professional in the workplace, or...
And don't you have to act nice with your husband or your boyfriend? No, of course, you can do whatever. They all want to be in a relationship, to be married, but to act like they're single. To act like 3 or 4s.
Or else you're labeled as a bitch, so then once you get home and you can kind of put down that wall.
But doesn't that prove that women are capable of controlling their emotions?
Yeah, but when you're at home in your own thing, like, it should be whatever.
Even around the people that you love, that you should be nice to and respect?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all love. You guys can come back together.
You walk into a room with 20 girls, you don't have to do anything. I've done this several times. I had 10 plutonic female friends, and just attraction begins. Attraction just starts. It's manufactured. And the reason why is because of something. For anybody who's skeptical of this, look up 2 concepts in psychology. One is called mate choice copying, which comes from evolutionary psychology and evolutionary biology. And the other one is called sexy son's hypothesis. If you look at these things, you'll find that when women see attractive qualities in another man, they want those attractive qualities in their offspring, so they'll choose to mate with those men.
What if you're a single mom like I am, and you decide not to stay with the baby's father because it'll be worse for the child, so you decide to leave and you both share custody of this child?
When did you discover you couldn't get along with him?
When I was pregnant, but that is my problem and not yours.
No, it isn't. It becomes the child's problem. How many of you would choose to be brought up by a nanny, a babysitter, or a daycare center yourself if you could choose? Stand up. Then don't do that to your kids. I'm trying to reinstill the will to make children important. We've lost all of that. We've just been so into...
It's so funny that she only realized that once she was pregnant, but not before. And she didn't ask, ma'am, how long have you been with that man before you got pregnant? 'Cause maybe it was only a few months. You shouldn't make a kid with somebody that you know for only a few months.
I don't understand why it's a red flag if girls sleep with guys on the first date. You guys do realize that you're doing the same thing, right? It's also a first date for you. And
Yes, but we'll never marry you. Those kinds of women are just the women we have fun with.
And you're still putting out on the first date. So why is it that as a female, if I really enjoyed my time with you and I want to show you how much I enjoyed it and have a little bit of fun, that I'm dirty, but you're just cool? I'm sorry, but I'm kind of cool too.
No, you're not, ma'am, because for you to get sex, it's very easy. You just have to exist, and you can have sex with how many men you want, whenever you want. It's not the same for men. That guy that you liked had to be a certain height, had to look a certain way, he had to have a certain amount of money just for you to accept a date with him. And you, what did you have to do? You just had to exist. That's it. That's it.
The reason you wanted to sleep with me in the first place. And it's not just because I'm hot. I have an amazing personality. If I made you laugh all night and you get to hit it and then you ghost me afterwards, I'm sorry, but that's your loss.
The girls with the biggest...
Yes, ma'am, keep thinking that way, and when you're 40 or 45 or 50 and you're still alone with cats, make another video about this subject.
Biggest boobs and the blondest hair are going up against the guys who have the highest status and the most money.
Yes.
And they're like literally meeting at this apex, like tip of the spear, just incredible, like high levels of male intersexual competition where dudes are shitting on each other. And like, you bought a $100,000 bottle? I'm going to buy a $100,000 and they go back and forth at each other. One of the reasons why I got so into evolutionary psychology is because I live in Vegas. Because some things that he talks about from a theoretical framework, like say, for instance, mate choice copying, Dr. Buss talks about, I see every day in real life with men who've been with 2,000 women.
No woman has ever left me when I was doing well. Let that sink in. No woman has ever left me when I was doing well. Look at your own relationship experience. When a woman has decided to end a relationship, what were the circumstances of your life? What was going on? Did she leave when you were successful or when you were struggling? Did she leave when you were relaxed and thriving or when you were stressed and overwhelmed? I hate to break it to you, but partners don't cut and run when the going gets tough. Which is why I've come to the conclusion that despite the apparent evidence to the contrary, women don't really want to be partners. They want to benefit.
A lot of people won't accept that the type of person that they're attracted to don't even like them.
Yeah.
The man that you looking for ain't necessarily looking for you. They be like, they want a rich man. Ain't no rich dude sitting around like, I wonder what Keisha with them 3 kids is up to. I feel like changing her life today.
Sometimes at the extremes, it happens. I've seen it. But those cases are so rare, and usually the guy is like 20, 30 years older than the woman. They're not the same age or close to the same age and rich and want to find a single mother. That never happens. That guy has to be so stupid. It doesn't happen.
I'm sure many of you guys listening to this can relate that when you have a disagreement with your girlfriend or wife, it's not enough for her to simply disagree with you or for her to think that you're in the wrong. No, her motive is actually far more insidious. She's trying to convince you that you are wrong so that you condemn yourself using your own judgment.
I'm a fat fucking bitch, and you don't want to be with me because I'm fat. Just admit it.
The argument will not end until you agree that you are in the wrong and until you feel bad about yourself.
My guy, what are you still doing in a relationship with a woman like that? What? Even if you can't find another woman your entire life, tell me honestly in the comments, is it worth it to be in a relationship with a woman like that? I've heard stories about guys doing some insane stuff just so they can have sex. Insane stuff. But come on, my guy. You need to have your sanity. How long can you resist in a relationship like that? With a woman that can't control her emotions. With a woman that acts crazy like that. How long? At one point, you will not take it anymore and you will want to leave. And then, guess what happens, my guy? Guess what happens? You will regret the time spent in that relationship. You will think, oh my God, I spent a year, 2 years, 3 years in a relationship with a woman like that. What the hell was I thinking? You will regret it. I can bet I regretted my past relationships. I regretted the years I spent in those relationships. Being a simp, you will regret it.
And sadly, there are so many women who are actively looking for opportunities to shame the men in their lives.
I could almost bet that every woman at this table, or I know like at least 99% of the women I know in my life have been a victim to a man in some form, whether it was sexually or physically.
That's crazy. Just think about it, guys. How skewed your judgment has to be, your view of the world has to be, to think that 99% of women, 99% of women, men did something to them. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
But I don't believe it. So here's the thing, right? Like, I don't actually believe
100%
that this
of
is
women
so.
have been-
What I think happens instead, and the stats bear this out as well, is that things which women would consider to be SA, men just simply do not. So, for instance, unwarranted touching by women towards men just disregard it.
Catcalling nowadays, it's called the same thing. Catcalling. or if a guy pursues them too hard, it's the same thing. They consider that as SA. Thank God that women here in Romania are not the same.
Whereas women will often freak out about it. And by the way, I also have the Cardinal Wilson rule. If there was no police report, I don't believe you. That's my actual rule. If there was no police report, the chances that it actually happened in a significant way are not true.
So a friend recently came to me in tears because her fiance brought up wanting to get a prenup. She was so offended that she wanted to break up with him.
If a woman thinks that a prenup is a red flag, then good riddance.
This is what I told her. If you get married without one, if something was to go wrong, there are financial terms in place. It's just that the government is going to dictate those terms and not you. Being able to have conversations about money and what would be fair in different scenarios, if you become a stay-at-home mom or they become a stay-at-home dad and you have to forego your career for 5-10 years, how does that look like? The goal is to have multiple conversations about what feels right for the both of you.
You prefer a bad boy or a nice guy?
Sorry?
You prefer a bad boy or a nice guy?
A nice guy.
A nice guy?
I am always attracted to bad boys, but I want to settle down with a nice guy.
First time I've ever heard a woman actually admitting that she's settling down with the nice guy. They're all attracted to the bad boys, but once they hit the wall, once they see that the bad boys don't even pay attention to them anymore, that's when they want the nice guy. So my guy, if you're the nice guy, there is a very high chance that if you're with a woman that is over 30, 35, she is settling with you. She's not actually happy with you. She wants the bad guy. I'm sorry to be the one to say this. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to make you open your eyes, so you don't make any mistake, so you know in case something happens, in case she's acting funny, why that is. So you're not confused, my guy, because she's settling for you.
The nice guys are the good ones, like the ones who want to love, they don't want to hang around.
And why do you think you're attracted to bad boys?
I think like it's the dangerous part of them that you feel attracted to, because humans are interested in dopamine and adrenaline, and I think that that's what suits us.
Yeah. So you think the nice guys, maybe they're just too boring?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think because humans are addicted to dopamine and adrenaline, so it's...
She's the first woman that I've ever saw actually admit this. So, respect.
Common.
So your rational mind wants a nice guy, but your heart wants a bad boy.
Exactly.
Okay, for you.
When I was younger, in your age, was not so free and accessible. You know, women that sleep around, nobody would take them seriously or marry them or want to get into a relationship with them. Today, with and everything, women think they're doing something good because they replace value with money. They think if they have money, they have value. But what's going to happen when you get to my age, you realize that you didn't surround yourself by good men and good people that protect you. Because if a woman have a good upbringing, surrounded by a good brother, good friends, good family, she would never go to this route. She would protect herself, because the emotional and psychological damage that happened to women after they've been in a sexual
What she's saying is true, and plus, we don't care about your money. You know who does care about your money? A broke guy. Would you ever date a broke guy? No. So that guy that you actually want has more money than you, and he doesn't care about your money. So you equating having money to being desirable as a wife, that's totally false. That's totally false.
Fashions, it's gonna damage you so bad. So even if you make $20 million or $100 million, you can never replace your emotional and physical damage that you're doing.
I actually really think marriage is a lovely thing, and I get misty-eyed at weddings like anybody, and not just for future business purposes. I think the statistic that's even more interesting to me than how many marriages end in divorce or how many people stay together miserable is that 86% of people who divorce remarry within 5 years. So think about that. Now you've done this thing, it's failed,
And you're going to do it again. This is why I tell you guys, most people are very stupid. They're not logical. They base everything on their emotions. Oh, how does that woman make me feel? Oh, I'm in love, so I'm going to marry her. No, my guy, you're just stupid.
You've gone through this difficult process.
Plus, sorry, I forgot. The chances of you getting a divorce in your second marriage is 70-something%.
Of having to undo it. And now within 5 years, 86% of people remarry. I mean, so that tells you how important this is to us as humans, how drawn to this idea, this technology of marriage we are. And that to me is fascinating.
Where's your engagement ring? What ring is this? What is this?
What are you talking about, man? It's just a
What do
ring.
you mean what I'm talking about? Okay, where did you get this ring from? Where's your engagement ring?
My engagement ring is at the house, and I just threw this one on because, like, I don't know, like, my engagement ring is just, like, so big and uncomfortable sometimes, it, like, gets in the way. I just didn't feel like wearing it today, so I just
I hope this is a skit and it's not real.
threw, like, this promise ring that my ex got me on. So at least, like, I have a ring on while we're out and about,
what?
so I look like I'm taken, you know what I'm saying? What?
A promise ring that your ex got you? Yo, take that off. Take it off now.
I just found out that I'm not hot. And this was based on a really humbling experience where I'm trying to get 4 men together to help me move a really heavy object from point A to point B. Not a far point A to point B either. And I can't do it. It can't be done. I'm in hell. I've tried for days, texting every man I know. Can you please come help me move this heavy thing? It's a piece of granite, by the way. I think we can use that as a gauge. Number 1, can you get a group of men to help you move a heavy object from point A to point B? Number 2, how far can you get them to move it?
Just look in your DMs, ma'am. I'm sure there are plenty of simps that would help you.
Because what I need is a piece of granite moved about 15 feet. Cannot gather 4 men to do that. Oh, I can't. I'm going to be hungover that day.
If you would have texted me, I would just tell you, I don't care.
Oh, I can't. Football is on. Wham! Number 1, they don't make men like they used to, because how come nobody wants to be helpful? Little helpless old me? You want me to pick up the granite slab? Why?
They don't make women like they used to. In the past, they were ladies. Now they're not. Now they have nose rings.
You're not being helpful. Number 2, I need to level up. I need to level up. I need to get hotter. I don't feel like a hot woman would have an issue with this at all. She'd have that granite moved.
Maybe grow your hair a little bit longer.
She'd have a kitchen island.
How to get a player to fall for you.
You can't, ma'am. A real player will never fall for you. A real player will know all your tricks because he's a player. That's what he does. He just deals with women like you on a daily basis. So from the start, everything she says in this video is very stupid, so we're going to skip this video.
Officially dating and getting to know an older man. And when I tell you, life has been so different, but for the better. For the better. And I will say it's the first time in my life I feel an immense amount of respect for a man that I'm getting to know. And I understand everyone's different. There's people that are older that are still children inside. There are people that are younger that are super wise and have tons of life experience. But I will say this, the man that I'm getting to know, he's just amazing. He's amazing. He's warm and kind and real and funny and cool and swaggy, and it's a lot. So I'm saying, sis, if you don't know how to meet older men, let me know if I should make a series on this.
It took me a while to learn this lesson.
Okay.
If you're with a true gentleman, they will never let you touch a door handle, right?
But are you a true lady? No, you're not. So why are you expecting a gentleman? It's so easy. See how you can beat everything they say with just a little bit of logic.
So I'm walking into this restaurant, and this woman is opening the door for herself, and her husband is like walking right in behind her. So I walk up, he looks at me, and he holds the door for me as she proceeds to open the next door. And he allows her to do that, and then he has me walk through, and I'm like, damn, that's disrespectful as hell. I mean, I know I look good and everything, but damn, I would never be with a man like that. That's crazy. For real, that's some real bitch shit. It just pissed me off even more.
Yeah, that's true. That guy shouldn't act like this. Why are you opening doors for other women, but not for your wife? And it doesn't matter how his wife is treating him. Why are you in that relationship? It's your fault, my guy.
Pleasure and happiness. A lot of people equate the two, but I'm here to tell you that they are completely different. Pleasure is short-lived, happiness is long-lived. Pleasure is visceral, happiness is ethereal. Pleasure is taking, happiness is giving. Pleasure can be achieved with substances, happiness cannot be achieved with substances. Pleasure is experienced alone, happiness is experienced in social groups. The extremes of pleasure all lead to addiction, whether they be substances or behaviors. Yet there's no such thing as being addicted to too much happiness. And finally, number 7, most important, pleasure is dopamine and happiness is serotonin. There's one thing that downregulates serotonin, dopamine. So the more pleasure you seek, the more unhappy you get.
Everybody wanted to know where the good men are, but let me just explain to you what's stopping these good men from getting with you.
Okay.
This idea that a man should come along and take you as you are. He should accept you for who you are, how you feel, how you think, what you do, and he shouldn't question that. He should embrace it, right? That's what you want. But that man wasn't good enough to be with you, to get with you, until he did all the work. He had to become this amazing provider, which means he needed to put in extra work and effort towards his career, maybe his education. Maybe he had to really put in the work for a grind, whatever he was doing. But until he can provide a lavish lifestyle, you didn't think he was worth much of anything. You want to make sure that you have a man who's making solid, sound decisions. You want him to stay far away from all these girls in these streets where he can get somebody pregnant and have all these children out of wedlock, because you want to be the woman who comes along for this perfect man, right? But you don't want to do any work. Do you know why your grandmothers back in the day were able to get these men when they were young? That's because they spent their entire life being raised and taught how to be a good woman.
And how to be a wife. Because nowadays women are not taught how to become a wife, how to be a wife. They're never taught that. They're always taught how to become a boss bee, go to college, get a degree, start a job. You don't need kids, you don't need a man. And then they get to 35, 40 and then they cry on TikTok because they're alone.
How to make sound decisions, what men cared about. See, we frown upon that now. You call it misogynistic. But no matter what name you put on these things, it's not going to change that you can't control what a man is going to find attractive and what a man is going to pursue.
Yeah.
You just can't. So you have two choices. Get on board and start putting in the work now. Or
get out.
Be okay being single.